I'm Rabbi Patrick, and welcome to Kehillah. This is the episode where our friends Ashton and Nick take over. They talk about all of these existential things. Like, this is just, we know what I love about this podcast is that you just get to know people. That's the whole idea. The episodes that actually are doing very well are the ones where you just kind of get to know, the people in your Jewish neighborhood. So that's what we're going to do this week. I am off. You can probably hear it in my voice. My voice is a little strained, so I'm taking some time off. But I've got some Shabbat announcements. I've got a really big announcement, and I've got some info about some ways that you can get involved. And boy, do you have opinions. So I'm going to get through some of that stuff, and then we get to hear Ashton and Nick talk about all of their existential issues. So first, Shabbat dinner and service at the Rabbi's Friday, January 23rd here in Midlothian. So you might even see Ashton and Nick. We'll hang out. We'll light the candles, do kiddush, eat some challah. The rabbi makes you dinner. I mean, who does that? Like who invented that idea, right? It's so neat. So I make you dinner. I've already got a menu planned. I'm thinking Pan-Asian for that Shabbat. But, if you have opinions on that, you can let me know. So we're going to do that. We'll have a little dinner, and then Robin and the Rebbitzin are going to lead service. So Rebbitzin will lead tefillah, lead prayer, and Robin will be helping along with the music. And I'll probably give some kind of sermon, and so it'll be great. So we're going to do that. Then the following week, Shabbat dinner at Pam's, more of a social situation. So this is where you get to actually be in the homes of our fellow congregants. Pam is in the Three Chopped Henrico area. I'm in Midlothian. So that's going to be great. Pam has cool girl house extraordinaire, has cats. It's great. You're going to love it. It's fun. Friday, January 30th. Then the next day, Shabbat morning, back at the rabbi's house in Midlothian. We're going to have bagels and lox and Torah study and some other things. And it's terrific. And we hang out in the tiki room because there's usually a smaller group there than you have at Shabbat dinner. And we're going to do some learning together. No experience required, right? It's in English. You don't have to worry about not knowing something. You can be like, I don't know who Moses is. And I'll say, well, that's fine. Let's just keep doing this. So that's a lot of fun. So Shabbat evenings are at 6. Shabbat mornings are at 10 a.m. that is. Then, okay, guys, this is a big one. Tu Bishvat Seder at, drumroll please, Second Arrow in Church Hill. So you maybe have seen some social media we've been putting out about this place called Second Arrow. Leah Johnson, thank you so much for making this possible for us. She's, this is a small business being opened by an incredible woman who's part of our community, and she's offering it to us. So we should use this space. I'm so excited. It's so neat inside. And Jesse, some of you met Jesse at High Holidays. So Jesse, who's this creative genius who does interior design work and things like that. I know she had a hand in it. Leah's friend from way back in the day did a bunch of art. So it's this is a thing. So we need to be part of this place. It's a coffee shop meets community space meets physical therapy practice. And in Church Hill, because we're growing community up there, and we want you to be part of it. So, of course, it's Church Hill. So, of course, you would have the Tu Bishvat Seder. Okay, so that's going to be at 6 o'clock, Sunday, February 1st. Great stuff. We're going to have the 4 cups of wine. And by the way, shout out to Point 5, the non-alcoholic bottle shop in Carytown, for giving us non-alcoholic wine for people who don't want to imbibe. And we'll have regular wine too. Don't worry about that. So we're going to talk about our inner world and our outer world, and we're going to eat different types of fruits that help us to be grounded to the idea of our internal world and the land, which is great. So mystical, earth-based Jewish practice. And then, because, guys, the rabbi makes you dinner. We're going to have a wonderful plant-based meal, mostly gluten-free. Yeah, I am so pumped about that. That just got posted on the website. It's going to be great. Okay, I know I'm trying to get through stuff. So next thing, Edva. We all love Edva, right? She is so awesome. Our Ashkenazi Mizrahi combo package of a B'nai Mitzvah tutor. She's so freaking delightful. And if you've met her husband, super sweet guy. I mean, they're a great couple. So anyway, so Edva is putting together a chesed group. So think of this like a gender inclusive temple sisterhood, right? So something bad happens, you send somebody, a casserole. Someone needs a little help, you go hang out at their house with them, right? That kind of stuff, right? Really, people helping people. A little bit different than Kehillah Cares. Kehillah Cares is more pro-level stuff. This is more like, what could you do today to help a person? No experience, skills required. That's what Chesed is about. So she's putting that together. If you are interested in learning more about that, send me your info. I'll pass it along. Okay. Goodness, so many opinions about the Jewish dating episode. Thank you, Panina, who works at the Weinstein JCC, and our friend Renee from far away, who's always talking about how she maybe could possibly be moving here. Because that's the thing. There's people from outside of our congregation who listen to this. There's like people in Russia who listen to this. It's wild. But y'all have opinions. And I appreciate your opinions. One opinion we got recently was maybe this podcast should be in video form. I don't know who would want to look at me in my office. Like, come on, I'm wearing pajamas right now, for goodness sakes. I don't know, is that too much is that TMI? I don't think so. Anyway. So if you have all these thoughts, right, you're like, you should do this as a video. You should interview this person. You should et cetera, et cetera. I want to hear all of it. And also, we need your support. So if you're someone who likes this podcast, you have thoughts, you want to maybe be on the podcast, or you want to make sure that the audio is a heck of a lot better than it is, or you want this to grow in some way, you want us to go beyond sort of the walls of our community like we did with our rabbi friend Alicia Paul, right? If you want to see this thing be a thing, help it be a thing. I'm going to need donations. I know the economy. I know politics. I get it. And also, if you want something to exist, you have to support it. Right now, you're listening to this for free. I don't want to do like a subscribe here and you get bonus content and blah, blah, blah. What am I going to do? Interview comedians? Like, come on, let's keep this about us. Let's keep this about Kehillah. Let's keep this about you. Let's keep this about what we're doing. So I'm going to need your support. KehillahRVA.org/donate. You can just look below, right? We've got every link to everything. But if you like this, if this is something that opens your heart every week, if this is something that makes you laugh, if this is something that helps you to get to know who we are and what our values are, let's get into it. Help us. Send a donation. Open your heart. Know that whatever your concept of the divine might be, I believe in a God who believes in us and believes in you and believes in all of these things we do, whether it's Shabbat, holidays, building relationships, creating community. And I hope you believe in it too. So in the spirit of that, I hope you'll donate. And I'm so excited. Ashton and Nick took this thing over. Now I get to give my voice a break. And there'll be a couple of little commercials at the end, but thank you, Ashton and Nick. Ashton and Nick have like a 2-person writing club, and they are such intense human beings, but like in the coolest way possible. You know that friend who you go have coffee with them, and you're just thinking about your grocery list or like picking up the kids or whatever, and they're like, I'm contemplating the meaning of the universe, like over a Frappuccino or something. Like, yeah, no, seriously. Went for coffee with Ashton, and he drank apple juice, and I had Nick over for coffee, drinks it black, and he would say something like my heart. Anyway, my voice is almost gone. Thank you, Ashton and Nick. Hope you enjoy this podcast. Please support it. And thank you. Set your intentions. Take a deep breath. Think about what matters to you. Friendship. Let's do this.
Hello, and welcome to this week's Kehillah podcast. I'm Ashton.
And I am Nick.
I was about to say I am Nick.
You're Nick?
Yeah.
Then I'm Ashton.
Please don't.
No?
I'm already having an identity crisis.
Let's make it worse.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Let's do that.
It'll be fun.
And this week, the rabbi decided to let us have full control of the podcast.
Delusional man, I dare say.
Yeah. He's probably got some issues going on.
I don't know why he would go
Poor
to us
man.
with that.
I know.
It's like I always tell people in the shop, I've got 2 ears. So, neither of them want to hear anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great. It's great.
That's what I told the kids I work with. I go, you have ears, use them.
Well, the fun part is that I am denying somebody's emotional validation with that, because I'm a misanthrope.
I don't know what that means.
Just like the general hatred of mankind.
Yeah, that's something you really live, breathe, and contain within your soul.
Sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna give you guys a little bit about us. But before I speak, Nick brought up something really interesting that is him and is very interesting, which is that he's like a very dark, yet simplistic, peaceful person. And so he's quite the character to get to know within Kehillah.
I think I've got a very bubbly disposition. Yes. I am just a joy to be around. Isn't that right, Ashton?
Absolutely.
All right, marvelous.
Guys, he just made a horrible hand gesture to me, just so we know.
Yeah. He's falsifying the record.
So let's hear a little bit about what you do, who you are, how long you've been a Jew. Were you born one? Did you convert? What's your view of God? Let's
what me am?
Yes.
What me am? Well, I am me.
Mm-hmm.
I am a mechanic by trade. I also go to school for it. That was after a little bit of time in the Army. I'm getting out now. That is also great because I get to be a hippie now.
Next month or this month?
I actually don't have to report to any more drills. I got the word from my platoon sergeant. I'm a free man.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Now all you have to do is just hope to not be drafted.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the inactive reserve now. So for the next 2 years, if my unit mobilizes, they can still call me back into service. But after those 2 years, the Army can forget about it. Lepsky is gone with the wind, man. Like the breeze. Yeah. But yeah, I'm also in school for mechanics, and you are in a pretty notorious program yourself. Would you like to tell folks about that?
Yeah, so I am in nursing school. So I'm finishing up some of the prerequisites. I was thinking about testing out of them, but I, dropped out of high school. Then I went to college and I dropped out of college. So I don't have anything above I don't know, basic math or even science. I don't even really know what constitutes as science. So the prereqs have to be retaken. And then in a few months, 16 weeks to be exact, I will be taking my T's entrance exam, which is a very stressful thing, considering you can only take it 3 times. And there's an overall score, and then there's 4 sections that are individually scored, and you cannot make below a certain percentage. And so if you make let's say overall you made a 95, and then on the 3 sections you made an 85, and then on the 4th section you made an 84. Guess what? You're disqualified. You have to retake that exam because you cannot apply because you got below the minimum score. And so after that, I'll be doing my associates for about 2 years. And then I will be transferring immediately to go get my bachelor's, either from VCU if I decide to stay in the state of Virginia. And if not, I've been recommended Western Governors University for both my bachelor's and my master's degree because it's non-traditional. It's competency-based, so it cuts back on a lot of time. And if I do my program online, then probably I'll move out of state. It's probably New Mexico. But yeah, I do that for school, and it's quite crazy. Nick has heard a lot of my like existential crises. And so I give a lot of my time to school. But I will toot my own horn, I will say. I've been a straight A student for 2 years, guys, and I have a 4.0 GPA, and I have an academic scholarship.
He's single, ladies.
Yep. Jewish women, hey, if you are looking for a man who's committed, I'm here for it.
Ashton Simmons, that's your guy.
Yeah, I'm like foaming at the mouth wanting a relationship. I know.
Yes, currently he looks rabid.
Yeah, it's true. Yep.
The sunken eyes don't. It's okay. I'm the same when I take my glasses off. I look like a
Take your glasses off?
I look like a shell of a
man.
man.
God, put him away.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You see what I mean?
Ugh.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, I don't like it.
I just feel like a husk.
I've never like fully noticed the glasses until now, until you specifically mentioned them.
Yeah, that and this hat. I need to get this hat fixed. Look at this. That's awful. Yeah. What is this thing doing anymore? It's got
get it fixed, buddy. You need to get a new one.
Who do you go to fix a hat? If anybody listening knows where I can go to get my hat fixed, a hatter, if you will,
yes.
but not a mad one. Let me know.
Yeah.
Just let me know.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've so I do that for school, and then for work, I used to be. Well, I was a nanny, and then for a few years I worked in applied behavioral analysis, and I loved that job. But here it wouldn't. When I was living in New York City, it paid me very good. It paid me like over $30 an hour. But that's because I had gotten all these qualifications. Their words, not mine. You're the most qualified therapist on our team. Can you please take on these cases? Very difficult, aggressive cases. I said yes, because I love those little. Who wouldn't? Can't get enough of them. Kids. That's who I work with. That's who I've been working with for 8 years. And then when I moved back here, I just switched to specialized nannying. So I babysit for like regular kids, but primarily I do nanny for children that have like any type of neurological or physical disability or medical needs. Oftentimes that's on the extreme end, because there's a huge need for nannies in general who do know how to work with, for example, most commonly people go, oh, you work with kids on the spectrum. I'm like, actually, no, the kids that I've been working with for a while now as a nanny, they don't have autism. It's harder to find a nanny that you could trust that has all these qualifications of this long-term experience with kids who, are severely physical disabled and who one of the kids that I nanny for, he can have a full-on fallout seizure. And he has trouble eating, can chokes on the daily, this kind of stuff. It's hard to leave your kids, in someone else's care when you have that. And so I love that job, and I pride myself on that and my work and the trust that families give me. And, I love my job. Work is work, but I've got I'm just happy I get to work with kids, And then when I graduate, I want to go into pediatrics.
Well, how do you feel about all the mechanics out there that compare themselves to doctors, but for cars?
Valid.
Really?
Yeah, because one of my best friends, she's a veterinary technician, And I was like, cool, so you're basically a nurse, but for dogs. And she's one that like gets how difficult healthcare professional like education is. Like a 92 is considered, below a 92 is considered a B. You cannot make less than like a C. And on then you're thin ice. And this whole intensity of like, this isn't a game. We take this very seriously. These are lives. And, you know, that goes towards like someone like my friend who's a veterinary technician, but also towards like mechanics who literally like, driving is probably one of the most dangerous things that we do on the daily. And if a mechanic goes, whoopsie, your car could blow up or some shit. So mechanics are just as vital and as important and valid just as other programs, because if we didn't have people like you, I mean, or people that took shit seriously, sorry guys, I didn't mean to say a bad word. I mean, it would be a wreck. And like, I don't trust Jiffy Lube. I trust Nick and my car guy that I've been going to for like 25 years.
I can assure you, none of us are taking it very seriously. Shop culture is a very strange thing. I could spend an hour just talking about that, but I'll spare all your ears.
He did teach me how to change my oil though, which was awesome.
It was a good old time until we spilt it all.
Yeah, but it was dark though, and
true.
That was like something I was like, that was something we really couldn't control.
It was such a weird position for that oil filter. Mm-hmm. So the problem was we thought we were all done, but there was this weird angle that we had to put the oil filter on with it on the jacks and the stands. And I thought it was flush, but it wasn't, and we found out the hard way.
What's flush?
Like meeting the surface perfectly.
Oh.
You know? Mm-hmm. So I thought the filter seal was meeting the surface of the motor, but that was not the case.
No. Yeah. But live and learn. I mean,
c'est la vie.
Yeah, like
c'est la vie.
Now I know. Okay, cool. I know how to change my oil, but like, let me have Nick do the oil filter part. And like after we like,
so that there's always someone you can blame.
Yes. But like after we like fixed it, like the car ran fine. You know, but like I wouldn't have trusted like my car guy is not going to show me how to do it because that's how he makes money. But like, I don't trust myself to learn it online, but like I'll trust Nick. And there's like a man humble ego and then a male ego, and like the male ego is like so stereotypical you can get it, but like the humble male ego is like when they're like, no, I'm just an honest guy, you know, I do honest work. It's
very performative. Yeah. It's great.
And then they like get to a certain part of whatever they're doing, and then they start to get too ballsy and too confident and realize that like, hey, you can mess this up, sorry guys. You know, and Nick, I don't think he really does that. And so, yeah, I trust him.
I think I'm dominated by my ego.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wait.
Huh?
I have like,
Waiting.
This is crazy. Did I ever, I swear. Oh my God. No, I had a dream and I just got deja vu.
Oh?
Yeah. I was like, right. I was looking at my laptop and then just sitting here. I was like, oh my goodness. I feel like I've been here before. And then I was like, no, we haven't.
Do you want me to interpret the dream?
Yeah, I mean, I can medically interpret deja vu if you need. Your receptors are, yes. Typically, in most forms of deja vu, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, or if I can elaborate on this, or you elaborate on this. We would love to include you guys in this conversation. But like when you get deja vu and you're like, oh, I've seen this before, it's because your brain is getting that signal, it's glitching, and it's getting that signal twice. So
Weird.
It's going, oh, I got it once, and then going, oh, here's another one. And so that's where you're going, you're recognizing it, and you're going, oh, I recognize this again, I've been here before. So that's like, you can interpret that though.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you...
That's weird.
There's so many weird things going on with the human body.
Wild.
Mm-hmm.
Not too shabby.
But the dream was like literally us sitting here on the podcast, like talking on the podcast in this kitchen, sitting here. You can interpret that.
Sounds like you're a prophet.
You heard it here, guys.
Yep.
What can I say?
What can he say?
Nothing.
What? Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I'm honestly... God, I am the exception to humanity. I am Jesus 2.0.
Jewish version.
Anything the
actually,
Virgin
the first
Mary
one
did,
was,
I could do 10 times better.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. Birth 2 babies. No, like, intercourse or anything.
Just hatched out of an egg.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why Ashton doesn't have a belly button. Fun fact about him. It's because he hatched out of an egg.
I've got a massive fear. Is that true?
What?
I was going to say I have a massive fear of belly buttons, but is it true if you come out of an egg, you don't have a belly button?
Well, I mean, how many ducks do you see with a belly button?
That's a good point, because I was going through my head and I was like, God, there are so many animals that come from an egg.
Yeah.
And they don't have animals. Isn't that crazy?
But then again, so we're thinking about mammals, right?
Yes.
When we're thinking about belly buttons.
Could you imagine if fish had belly buttons?
Well, hold on. How come dogs don't have belly buttons?
That's a good point. They have nipples.
They have a lot of nipples.
For the puppies.
It's disturbing, though.
But they have a large litter, so you can't just have, like...
You're not wrong. It's just wrong. That's all.
It is wrong.
Yeah. I have a dog. Her name is Phoebe. She's a beagle, and I would kill and or be killed for her. She's the love of my life. Just the sweetest Petey.
Mm-hmm.
You know. All she wants to do is snuggle. As soon as you take your hands off her, she is throwing a fit.
Aww.
You know, it's adorable.
I love dogs.
Yeah.
You guys got a cat, though.
We have a cat?
I feel like you said something about a cat. Maybe it was some poetry.
I used to have a cat like a little while ago. Her name was Koshka, which is Russian for cat. So, yeah.
So cute.
It's very nice, very nice.
Okay, so then let's move on to like this next subject, because if you know us, you know that we can go in circles constantly. We can talk forever. We have to schedule it when we do hang out. We do have to schedule good about like 3-4 hours.
Yeah, like some buffer time in there. You know, maybe between all that we can actually get something done.
Yeah. But like, so because this is a Kehillah podcast, I think we can kind of like segue into. We can tell that we're like very wild, interesting people. I guess. I'm assuming. I feel that I have a lot of depth. I feel that Nick has a lot of depth, and I'm sure that feeling is shared for him, but I don't know if you guys feel that we can get deep. I'm just putting a lid on it. But we can talk, like, you and I were not born Jews.
This is true.
Yeah. And we both found Kehillah. And we really like it. I mean, out of all the other synagogues here, we keep going back to Kehillah. And we don't have a synagogue or anything, a specific place. And so we're choosing something that's much more spiritual and community oriented rather than like fancy schmancy synagogue.
Yeah, there's something about Kehillah that feels more human than when you go somewhere brick and mortar, and it's not like it's not for any failing on the part of other synagogues and whatnot. It's just that very special something that Kehillah has in its community, it being such a diverse community. We've got a very broad age range. We're interfaith friendly, and you just meet a lot of different kind of folks, and it's always a good time. You know.
No, you keep talking.
I was just reiterating. Something about it feels deeply human.
Mm-hmm. Before we segue into the next thing, with Judaism, I saw like a TikTok one day, and it was like Reformed Judaism is like the, I don't know what you would, like the, what is it, like the woke young people's churches?
Mm-hmm.
You
Like
know, like
the
chapel,
non-denominational.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Reformed Judaism is like the non-denominational Christianity, where they're like, all right, we're gonna play some guitar, and
Yeah, they get like the acoustic guitar and the box drum out, and I gotta like grit my teeth through something that sounds like the Lumineers, right? Like the last time I was deeply passionate about that kind of music, I'm pretty sure was the 7th grade.
Yeah.
And I was like listening to Of Monsters and Men on repeat.
That's like prime time for Monsters and, it's not the Lumineers, Monsters and Men.
No, they're not. But I feel like they fall into a similar category.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's that like when you think of the kind of person that listens to and or plays that music like religiously.
They get their jeans from, they get skinny jeans.
Yeah, they're wearing the scarf, maybe it's some kind of hat, not a baseball hat.
A fedora.
If you're going for the Redditor angle, yeah. It could be a fedora or
you almost slipped up.
or something adjacent. Did I mention the scarf? I feel like the scarf is pivotal, especially in the summer. Mm-hmm. You're still wearing like a light breezy scarf. You just look like a douche.
Yeah, that is true. But yeah, like that, and they're like, we're gonna say, they were like, and we're gonna be inclusive and join in prayer or not if you don't. I don't know. It was like, I was like, yeah, that is us, but like, damn, it's so cringy when like Christians do it. No hate to Christians, but yeah, I was like, we are the equivalent of that, but we're welcome, we're more welcoming, I think.
Yeah, that, you know, I think Reformed Judaism, as far as being Judaism in general, for the most part, is deeply progressive in a way that Western Christianity just can't catch up with. And not like it's any better in the East, it's worse. But no, even in non-denominational Christian spaces, you're still finding sort of that almost like that Southern passive aggression. You know what I mean? The "oh bless your heart" types.
Yeah.
If I'm just pulling something out of my tuchus here.
The cavity.
Yes, the place in which bodily waste is done away with.
Yes.
If that is where my words are coming from, somebody in the audience, please let me know.
And so, like, you know, Kehillah is Reformed, and you know, it's a nice place, and it's, you know, different. It's more of like, I think, community oriented, and we all kind of run off of, you know, with each other. But you know, as mentioned earlier, we weren't born Jews; we converted to Judaism, and a lot of Kehillah has converts, which I think is so great, because I didn't really know that there was that many converts in general, especially converts that like came from Christianity. And so you came from a Christian family, and I came from a Christian family. So I think a key thing that we should discuss is where we were, how we got here, and where we're at now, with Judaism being our primary religion.
Well, I was deeply invested as a child in all matters spiritual. I don't know. I think I felt in those spaces like it wasn't often reciprocated by the people around me. But as I grew older and just went around the block a couple more times, met different kinds of people, I became very disenchanted with organized religion in general. Particularly the scene in which I grew up. I felt at the time I probably would have told you I was agnostic. You know, I was never able to get to the point that I could say God just doesn't exist at all, because even so, there's like the Aristotelian argument, right, of the unmoved mover. So everything has a cause and effect. So eventually going back, if we're assuming like the laws of conservation of mass, the laws of conservation of energy, then everything that exists has always existed, which sounds suspiciously like God. And then, you know, if you want to go from there, we could dip into like pantheism or panentheism. But that's why I was never able to go full-blown atheist.
Yeah.
In some of my writings before, like, hold on, let me backtrack a little bit. I had a good chunk of time in my life where I was really down and out.
Just for clarification, that's not right now.
No.
Okay, because I would have thought
well,
it was
I mean,
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burnout is there, but you know, it's not quite like it was back then. But back then, I was also in college, realizing how much I suck. But I was in this history class, and it was great. The professor, he was talking about what makes humanity special or unique. And we were going through all different kinds of things. And back then I was really interested in linguistics. I studied Russian, studied German, and just the general like family tree of linguistics and how they evolved. So to me, the thing that makes us most human is language, but you know, in the context of this class, we were trying to figure out what makes us unique, and not necessarily. There's a lot of really complicated communication in other species, like dolphins, whales, you know, to such a degree of complexity that we still don't entirely understand. So that was a bullet I had to bite, but yeah, where was I going?
Ooh, somewhere.
It sounded like I was going somewhere pretty good.
Yeah. I have like tons of things to say, but you think you were going through where, like, the timeline of what brought you to Judaism and how that's your primary religion. Because we have free will. We can just believe anything. And so out of everything, why Judaism?
Okay. Yeah. How much do I want to subject everybody to?
I think if they've made it 28 minutes and 53 seconds in,
that's a fair assessment.
I think we're safe. We're good.
Fair assessment. Right, so as I was figuring myself out and whatnot, I came to find that Jewish places, Jewish ideology, Jewish practice really aligned with what I'd sorted out for myself at that point. I found that I enjoyed and thrived in the challenge of it, honestly. There's an essayist, his name is Henry Slanimsky, whose essays I've enjoyed flipping through, but in one of them he brings up this Yiddish phrase, schwer zu sein ein Yid. It's hard to be a Jew. And it's true, just being, just existing as a Jew is already a challenge in and of itself. I mean, take a look around you. And I was watching a TikTok earlier today. It was great. The guy said being Jewish by yourself sucks.
Yeah.
But being Jewish with the community is awesome. And he's absolutely right. Every time there's a Kehillah notification or something, I just notice a little spark of bubbly joy inside of me, because I'm a very sappy and sentimental person. And this community just does a lot to help us thrive. Individually, all together, it's just done wonders for me. It gives me a framework that I can keep my thoughts in and not get lost with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, Judaism it is a communal religion. I mean, you have to have like 10 other Jewish men or individuals to, pray. Minyan? How do you say it?
Minyan?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff at the Seder or Shabbat, all of this is like very family, community oriented. It was made off of that, and even how the Israelites and the Jewish community kind of, you're talking about a population of people who have been uprooted and dispersed throughout time and traveling all over the place. You have no other choice but to make your lifestyle and your belief system community oriented, because that's the one thing that will hold you guys together. So by nature, it's community oriented, and that's one of the things that will not change, like the core tenets. But
Rabbi Patrick has brought up a couple of times something that I keep going back to. He said for most other faiths, the order of events that you'll see is believing, behaving, and then belonging, whereas in Judaism, often enough, it's the inverse, where you start with belonging, then you behave in conjunction with the community, and then you start believing. And I think that's pretty dead on. What I really appreciate about Judaism and some of the ideology is something like, I forget who exactly in the Talmud said it, but he said something to the degree of greater is the one who is commanded to do a mitzvah and performs it than the one who is not commanded to do a mitzvah and performs it, which seems kind of backwards, because we want to reward that initiative in someone to do good deeds and whatnot. What he was really zeroing in on, though, is that almost kind of Machiavellian, right? The ends justify the means. If net good is put into the world, that's really all we need to be concerned with, in the evangelical scene, there was this whole idea always brought up around about sins of your thoughts, sin in your heart, which, yeah, to a degree, that's something you want to temper, that you want to keep an eye on, but you have to realize that we're not always the controllers of our thoughts. Our thoughts present themselves to us. We interpret them. And that's where the ideology of my upbringing went a little too far in trying to control your own thoughts. You can attempt to, but don't expect perfection, and especially not anytime soon.
That's not your thoughts and feelings that matter, it's your actions.
Yeah, exactly. And the obligation that we have to our mitzvot ensures that something is done. So, you don't have to be happy about it. In fact, you can kick, scream, cuss, and moan all you want while you're doing your mitzvot, but you're doing a mitzvah. And that's what really matters. That's at least the idea that I got from it. I work with a lot of antisocial sorts. They will cut you in 1 second and stitch you up the next. You find, at least in my field of work, I'm certain in others, folks that stand by what they do rather than what they say. And that's what I've gathered about Judaism's whole point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And how about you? What's your journey been like?
So, my kind of path throughout this has been like kind of long. I kind of say long because what I describe as like spiritual discomfort is kind of always there. I was like born and raised in a Christian family. My mom was more like severely Christian. My dad really wasn't until he did do the impossible. He did convert to Christianity like 2 months before he died.
No.
Yeah.
That's what, like...
And the people
yeah.
from Chick-fil-A, because we knew all the people at Chick-fil-A and stuff, and I went to school with one of their kids, one of the owners. And so they would like go and visit him and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, he converted. We were like, God, we thought it would never happen.
Yeah.
But I guess that's like human psychology. When you're having to face death, you need that comfort.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess near the end, I had a full Christian family. But from the very beginning, I had this spiritual discomfort of like, I didn't really fit into Christianity, and I don't know really what it was or how to describe it. It was just, hey, this isn't really right for me. Something about it just, I don't jive with it.
It feels like a shirt that just doesn't fit quite right.
Yeah.
There's something about Judaism that feels like something tailor fit to.
Yes.
It's hard to describe. It's hard to rationalize.
And that's, that's how it kind of was during the beginning of my life. And then, obviously once you get older into your teenage years, and I by nature, and I never followed the rules, let's put it like that. I always like to question authority and rebel against them. I was the kid that got like suspended and in school suspension every week from school. So naturally rebellious, and then naturally always like questioning why we do what we do, and what does that mean? And so I started having those teenage criticisms towards Christianity, and as I kind of leveled out, into my older years, I came to the conclusion, and what I always kind of tell people is, I never questioned God, but I questioned the foundations upon which my beliefs were built. And from there on out, I just tore apart the Bible, Christian Bible, and then other Abrahamic religions. So throughout like the 8-9 years, I have studied Abrahamic religions, their creation, evolution of them, the evolution of language, and then the translation of language, and the influences, the influence of so many factors upon our perception, into Abrahamic religions, all that kind of stuff. And so this was like serious, like academic deconstruction and picking apart. Like I would compare, I had like Bibles and Bibles, and I would have like 2 different Bibles, and then I would literally read them word for word together, and I would pick apart those inconsistencies, and I would go back to the original translation through years and years and years. It was crazy. And so after all that was said and done, I was like, this is really questionable, understandably so, because as we get further from the creation of a religion and further and further from when a specific writing was made, it's harder for us to understand the context and the influences of which that was created. And, so understandably, I was like, this feels really questionable. And so I was like, okay, well, I still believe in God. But where do I fit into this? And I'd like study Judaism and stuff. It's very, I would say historically accurate, but that specifically, I would say because we do have an emphasis on Hebrew and the original translation, whereas other languages, it's been translated so many times, it's really hard to keep track and find, have the original source. And so that's like super important, what validates it. And I'm not here to say like, oh, what I believe in is right, or that's more valid than someone else's, because even I'm critical of my own religion in terms of kosher. So what is it? To not eat pigs.
Kashrut.
Yes.
Yeah.
The study on that and the influences and where that kind of came about. I think I've told you this before, whatever. There was a whole archaeological dig, and we kind of found like there's some more to this, and the introduction of pigs and cows into a land, and the perception of a class hierarchy and the owning of certain animals. And so even then, I will absolutely say, hey, like this, even our work can, be influenced, absolutely. But one time what the rabbi said was like, God is a lived experience. So, I mean, all these religions is just our interpretation of God, of what God is telling us, at different points in different places in time. So of course it's not all going to look the same. And I think in general, even in one religion, someone's interpretation does not 100% reflect the others, someone else. And so, I'll still be critical of everything, but I think the difference is like, but I know who I am. And I feel once I found kind of Judaism, I've never really felt like I was spiritually stable and like okay with a lot of things, even though I will be, and my mom will find it hypocritical or odd that I will go. I don't believe it. I don't know if there's an afterlife, but I would like to hope that there is, because I believe in a kind and gracious God, but I don't have any facts. What do we got? We got like Kabbalah, and that is it. Mm-hmm. And even that is questionable. And just in my opinion, and I'm not a Kabbalah expert. I attempted it. I'm not ready for it. I'll say that. But just at my opinion from a glance and how it was created, even that is questionable. She's like, she can't understand or comprehend the fact that like, I can believe in what I want to believe in, mm-hmm. and still be able to live in this world, around me. And before we kind of move on, also side note, you had talked, because I've been trying to contain this and then I forgot to say it. Mm-hmm. You talked about something about like the things existing before we existed earlier.
Right, the Aristotelian argument.
Well, so I was going to raise you one.
Hit me with
it. Not like literary, but like scientific.
Yeah.
Like space and astrology and theoretical physics. For those of you guys who don't know, I'm dumb as a rock, but I really love science.
I'm a mechanic because I need the pictures. So, we're on the same plane here.
But what was I saying? Yeah. So there's new theory going around. Pretty sure it's not a fact. A lot of the things, even the inside, like what's inside of the Earth, that's a theory, not a fact. We can't prove it. Had the Big Bang, we can't prove that. It's taught as fact because we do see it happening in other places.
Yeah, that's also like a scientific theory is not the same as like a casual theory you'll come up with by yourself. A scientific theory has a lot higher standards to actually be called a theory.
And for it to become an established theory, a major part of that is spending years and years and years doing everything you can to disprove that theory.
Yeah, it has to stand up to a lot of scrutiny. So it's more or less a semantic thing that we call it a theory. But to the best of our knowledge, that's scientific fact. Again, to the best of our knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've observed it happening many times, but did we ever observe it with us? No, so therefore we can't prove it.
Yeah.
Also with planets too, every kind of planet has their own internal makeup, and so we can't drill into the middle of the Earth. But anyway, so there's a new theory going around about how basically there's like the edge of our universe, right? And so we can't. This is our universe, okay? It's a big circle.
Big circle.
And it's bright. It lights up.
Okay.
It's an oval.
Nice. Okay.
Beyond that oval, nothing.
Nothing.
It's black. There's nothing bright enough where we can detect light. So within that, we are going, okay, so then space is expanding, right? And so there is what's called the great heat death. So that's when the further things get apart, the more they add, the faster they go apart. The more space there is, the quicker they're going to spread.
Right,
so,
and also like the more space between molecules, the colder it gets. The colder it gets with less molecular movement.
Yes, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So like absolute zero is when there's no molecular movement whatsoever.
Yeah, I learned that in biology because like water is, water's denser than frozen ice.
Yes.
Because the molecules we're spread apart in ice.
Yeah.
So it's less dense.
And that's why ice expands.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. You and I are on the same page. So that's kind of like the great heat death expansion. Is we're going to get so far apart, we will kind of cease to exist. The Earth cannot survive. At the same time, something is also, if it's not this push between each other, there's something that is pulling us, space to, our universe to expand. And so at a certain point, we're expanding, and then it's kind of like a rubber band. So you pull it and you stretch it, and then at some point it's going to snap.
Yeah, or what's it called? The Great Crunch, where
the Great Crunch,
starts pulling back in instead.
And so that's what it's. So the Great Crunch, it's going to expand and then it's going to snap. It's all going to fall back in. What does that do? It basically is the Big Bang.
Reset.
Yeah, so it's going to all collapse in on each other, and then it's going to be so much mass, and then it's all going to explode again and create the Big Bang. So it's this never-ending essential cycle. Will we ever live to see that cycle? No, but
if you enjoyed listening to us so far for some godforsaken reason, don't worry, you can hear it for the first time all over again, just in a small eternity. Yeah.
Yes.
Good times.
Yes.
It's kind of makes me think of the myth of Sisyphus.
I don't know what that is.
It was, first off, it was written by Albert Camus. He was French. What did he know? Schmuck.
I love those little bastards.
Right?
Questionable. I got like a ton of books by them upstairs.
Strange little man Albert Camus was, but he wrote this book or story or whatever. I haven't read it myself. I just try to make it sound like I know what I'm talking about, and I think I am pretty good at that. But Sisyphus, he has to push a boulder up the mountain. And when it gets to the top, it just rolls back down, and he has to push it up again. And somewhere in there's a little bit of torture thrown in. I'm almost certain. But that's Albert Camus' allegory for life, and he says one has to imagine Sisyphus happy. Because he was a weird little French guy, and his whole deal was absurdism, which was a good segue for me out of my own personal nihilism, but it's not exactly where I wanted to end at.
Yeah.
But yeah. We're gonna keep doing it again and again, and we can be happy anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness! Wait. Okay, so we're nearing up on the end of time.
Yeah.
So let's end with this real quick. I wrote you something genius, and this is something people can come up and talk to us about. This is kind of the essence of us. What did I talk to you about? Ecclesiastes. Hold on. I can never spell that name right too.
Oh yeah. It's,
what did I say?
ECCLE.
Okay.
Oh, now I'm getting lost.
I wouldn't even
I
attempt
can spell it if I'm writing it, but not out loud, like spelling bee style.
Mm-hmm.
No, I can't do that.
I'm dyslexic. I'm gonna fail that portion of the T's exam.
Yeah.
They said, "What's I before E except after C?"
I don't know. That's so stupid. That's so stupid. I'll be able to read what you're writing regardless, and like.
But they want to prove like maximum competency. So like, there's no way to cheat yourself out to cheat out of competency. Like, because it's all, each section is like individually graded.
Yeah.
So you can't go, oh, math is my strong suit, but English isn't. So therefore, I will bring that math portion up. That I will do even better in the math portion, and then that'll keep me from failing. There's no way. And of course, you don't want like, if we didn't have, I think it's a little bit too excessive and competitive and toxic in nursing school. However, it is competitive and selective for a good reason. In terms of, if we were solely focusing on like letting everyone become a nurse and getting people in and out of the program and not proving competency, we would have a lot of people dying. We would have a lot of bad nurses. So you have to prove that like you can, that you have this very deep understanding of every single academic subject. But anyway, you might know us. We talk a lot about death.
And it's fun.
Yeah, it is. And so we were talking about Ecclesiastes. And I had said something once. This is where we'll leave off on. Just to keep you guys questioning. This was so long. Okay. So sorry, guys. Okay. So I'll just, there's no good way to section this up. But I said, perhaps a part of Ecclesiastes tries to emphasize on a physical death because, he mentions dust and, dust to dust in our soul, going with God, comprehending the departure from a tangible world we have only known into a spiritual realm where we don't even know what that means. Are we conscious? Are we aware? Do we have thoughts? Is it a state of peace within which we exist without having any ability to communicate or think? Or is it a disbursement of our spiritual energy back into the workings of a balanced universe that God created? Questions that will never be answered until one faces death itself. And by then, if death is a state of non-existence, then we really will never have been able to know that we questioned and received an answer. Have with that what you will. That's a little bit of a external crisis for you that we can leave off on.
It's fun. I
yes.
think I remember my response to that.
You did.
I said,
You said, no, there are Christians who are... Oh, sorry.
No, wait, that was to something
That was
else.
response to something else. Sorry, guys.
Real quick, I do want to say, we have a lot of fun dunking on Christianity,
Yes.
but our love for Judaism is a lot more than compare and contrast. That's how I think a lot of conversion stories will begin with that compare and contrast. But, that's just how it is for most things. Then you find your feet, you settle in, this is home.
Yes.
And really at the end of the day, that's just that.
Yes. Absolutely. So that's kind of, to keep you guessing and give you guys more interest in coming back to listening to the next podcast, whoever hosts it, or to coming to Kehillah. If you think where we are a hoot, go to an event and
we'll be in the corner
Yes.
quietly judging all of you severely.
Look for if you want to find Nick and Ashton at a Kehillah event. Look for the man with a beard and a hat. That is Nick.
Just a terrible hat, too.
Yes. And then look for...
And a terrible beard.
It's grown out. It's getting better.
Well, yeah, it didn't help that I had to shave, but not anymore.
I'm so sorry. I was like so unsupportive about that. I said, oh, that's not. You can always grow it out, and I was like, crap. I should have just like not let him.
I mean, you know what?
That he looked like
I'm getting back to it slowly but surely. I'm going to eventually look again like I should live under a bridge, like a highway overpass or something.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to crawl out from under there and stop up traffic and ask people riddles before I let them pass, and it'll be great. Yeah.
That's good. He's gonna get arrested.
Yeah.
But look for the little crazy kid. Who looks kind of wild and scraggly. And then look for a 25-year-old all dressed in black who actually looks like a 17-year-old. What age do I look like? I'm 25. Because I keep getting 18, 17.
I would put you at a straight 20.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. But thanks for like having us to the rabbi and Kehillah. And
thanks to all the people who do all the things.
Yes, please come to Kehillah. Like if you just want to experience Jewish life, culture, and a very diverse community. I will also say, for any like transgender Jewish people, LGBTQ people, we have a very great, wonderful, accepting community given in today's society, where things have gotten really intense and really bad. You are always welcome here. And we always find each other. We can sniff each other out.
Yeah.
I went to Costco last week. I saw another transgender man who was stealth. He knew I was transgender and stealth, and we both bumped our carts into each other, and we just smiled and nodded, and it was like sick. We know, we can tell, but I will hunt you guys down, and if you show up, know that you will be seen.
Yeah. Remember that we love all of you except for you specifically. Yeah.
Nicholas.
You. No, don't love you. But all the rest of you, yeah, we love you, and we'll see you soon, hopefully.
Yes. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Our friends at Second Arrow just opened, and you need to know about them. Second Arrow believes in the warmth of coffee, tea, and community, a place integrating yoga and physical therapy to meet RVA's need to heal from injuries or work to prevent re-injury. Best of all, they do it together. Learn more or book a class at secondarrowrva.com or visit them at 2200 Carrington Street in Church Hill. Grab something to drink and a gluten-free pastry. Yum, they're delicious, actually. That's secondarrowrva.com. Thanks, Second Arrow, for hosting Kehillah events. Remember, you matter.